All right. Hello, my friends. It's Ranger Russ from the Meigs Nature Center, and we're going to try this again. This is a different phone, and with this one, hopefully I can see, yes, I can see who is logging in. So we should be good. As soon as I see Pam, we can connect her. These are the trials and tribulations of online education. There's Pam. We're going to add her in. And it says adding. So, connecting, and there we are.
Do you see us? Wait a minute. Okay. Can you see us? What we don't have is we can't hear you. Wait a minute.
You can't hear me?
Oh yeah, now I can. All right. I think we're good. Let me turn this and see. Oh, that might be better. What do you see? Do you see the whole screen?
I just see.
Do you see that?
I see that stuffed animal, looks like.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, that's sort of our prompt. Hey, everybody, just hang on. Because half of my screen is you.
Yep. That's why I tried it on the iPhone to see if we could do it side by side, but it won't let it.
Okay.
I think you have to flip it because you're sideways now.
I'm sideways. And what, you think it needs to be up straight? Oh.
Yeah, you're sideways.
Oh, that's your phone.
I see.
There you go. Lori is watching. Lori has been very excited about this.
I hope we didn't lose everybody.
We're up to 44 people right now.
Oh, good. We're here. Oh, this is so hard. But we made it. Okay.
All right.
All right. So good evening, Ranger Russ.
How are you today?
We're great. Thank you for inviting us to Meg Point program. We're really excited. We're going to share lots of opossum facts with you today.
Yeah, we're in the virtual nature center. I don't know if you can see behind me. There's trees. So
yes.
I normally can't do a program with nature all around me. So
yeah, we watched you today eating mushrooms.
yes, that was very good lichen.
So for people who don't know us, hello. My name is Pam. And
I'm Bill.
Oh, wait, there he is. The bald guy put a hat on tonight. And we run Ferncroft Wildlife Rescue in Woodstock, Connecticut. Bill and I are retired teachers. And a lot of people want to know, why did we become wildlife rehabilitators? We ran a hobby farm for many, many years. But after we retired, we had rehomed the animals. And then after a few years of retirement, I needed something to do. I needed a purpose. I needed a reason to put my feet on the floor. Bill didn't. He had a purpose. 4 o'clock every afternoon, Judge Judy was on. He was happy.
Yay.
But a friend called and told us that Connecticut is desperate for wildlife rehabilitators, and that's true. So for people watching, later on, if you're interested, you can PM me, private message me, and I'll give you information on how you could become a rehabber as well. Anyway, a friend called and said Connecticut needed wildlife rehabbers, and there was a class about to start. And I was so excited. I just the thought of being a wildlife rehabber. I hung up the phone, I ran to Bill, and I said, Bill, we're going to be wildlife rehabbers. And he said, what is that? I said, I have no idea. We had to Google it. And since then, we've really grown. We're now a 501 facility. We have both state and federal licenses, and we have permits to do educational programs in the tri-state area in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. And we're pretty happy with all of the stuff that we do. And then, of course, the second question is always, why did you pick an opossum? This is Basil. He's our puppet, and we take him out to do children's programs. We did a lot of different species in the beginning, but we chose opossums for many different reasons. They are very gentle animals. They don't carry very many diseases. They really don't bite. You learn how to handle them. And honestly, at my age, it would be too difficult to try to remember all the different formulas and all the different care plans for many different animals. So we chose opossums, and that's what we do. And tonight, we're going to introduce you to several of our opossums, from adults to children. But before we do, I have an important message. So kids, are there any kids out there watching? For all of the kids that watch it, this is a very important message. Wildlife are not pets. Opossums are not pets. You're going to meet a lot of opossums tonight, and they're really cute, but they're wildlife. So don't ask mom or dad or nana or papa to go get you an opossum, because they can't do that. Don't ask them if you could keep that bunny or keep that bird, because you can't. Because you want to know what? Wildlife are their happiest when they're out in the wild. The birds should fly in the sky, the fish should swim in the water, and all the little animals should run free in the woods, in the fields. Okay, kids? So if you love animals, then your job is to help keep them safe and to protect them and to watch them from the window if they're in your backyard. All right, now I think that it's time for us to meet. Who have we got coming first, Billy?
Lavender one's first place.
Lavender. Lots of people know about lavender. Let's do some fun facts about opossums. This is Lavender. Lavender is probably our most popular possum.
She's having a bad hair day.
She is having a, we'll brush her while we're talking. Lavender has a lot of bad hair days now because Lavender is kind of old. How about some food for Lavender, Bill?
Sure.
She's going to be looking for some shrimp or some cauliflower. Let's see, what will Lavender choose? We have a piece of cauliflower. Hey, Lavy. We have a Cheeto, very bad. And we have a shrimp. What does she go for? She went for the cauliflower. Yummity yum. So Lavender came to us about 2.5 years ago. She was her and her brother. It's an interesting story. They had made friends with a family cat and had followed the cat to eat food. And something must have scared them. And Mama ran off, and Lavender and her brother fell off Mama's back. And the homeowners the next day went down and found tiny.
Your sound broke up there.
Can you hear me now?
Nope. Yes, now we can.
Okay. And so Lavender came to live with us. Her brother didn't make it, and she was very lonely. So we have a little pouch. I have one around here somewhere, and I carried Lavender around in the pouch for weeks, and she got better, except for one thing. Lavender must have had a head injury when she fell. So Lavender has a little seizure disorder, and we can't let her go in the wild, because what happens when a possum has a seizure disorder, hey, Lavy, look, over here's a shrimp, is they just sort of stay still, and of course, then they would become food for someone else. I want to show you things about Lavender. For one thing, if you look, you see Lavender's ears are all black. When opossums become adults, their ears get all black. You're going to see some babies today where the ears are still pink. And the other thing about Lavender is she's pretty small. She only weighs about 7 pounds. And she has front feet, kind of like you do. They're kind of like little hands. And she holds her food with her hands. Let's see if she'll hold that cauliflower. Sometimes she picks it up. No, tonight she's not going to. She's just going to chomp away at it. Lavender has a very pretty face. You know, opossums are called white-faced opossums, and lavender has a perfect white face and a slender white face. And I think that's because she's a female. When you meet Rudy, you're going to meet Rudy pretty soon. Oh, he's very different looking. Rudy's twice as big as her and has a very different looking face. The other thing that lavender has, and let's see if Bill can manage with the camera so that I can show you lavender's pouch. I don't know. Down a little. There we go. There's lavender's pouch. Can you see it? And in that little pouch is where babies would live. Can I have that again, Bill? The camera? Right about there.
Uh-oh. You froze. All right. I think, is it them that froze or did I freeze? We lost them. Okay, so we're just going to hold tight right here. Hopefully they can come right back in as soon as they realize that they are lost. But let's go through some of your comments. I see someone knows that they are the only marsupial in the United States. And they are back, but I'm not able to add them yet. Pam, are you back on your phone? Hold on, Pam. You're not coming up on your phone. I see your name or your iPad or whatever you're on. It's not letting me add it. Oh, there we go. I think it takes a little while for that to happen. So we are adding right now. Back a little bit.
Here I am.
There you are.
Sorry, we dropped the camera. All right.
Somebody was mentioning that the possums are the only marsupial in the U.S.
Yes, they are. And I wonder how many kids know what a marsupial is.
I think you're going to have to explain that one.
A marsupial is an animal where mama carries the babies in her pouch. And I bet the kids out there watching know other animals where the babies live in a pouch in the mama's pocket, like a kangaroo or a koala bear. I think sugar gliders. And pouches come in different sizes and shapes. Lavender's pouch, if you would hold her up right where you are, Bill, I'll be in charge of the camera from here on in. If you hold her up so we can see her pouch. There we go. Can you see Lavender's pouch?
Yeah.
So it's really just kind of like a little circle in her belly. You would be surprised at how big this pouch spreads out. She can have anywhere from 8 to 15 babies, and they get pretty big. And this is why mamas oftentimes get hit by cars, because they have these big pouches full of babies, and they can't run fast. They don't run fast anyway, but they really can't run fast across the road when they're carrying the babies. Right now, our opossums in New England are on their second passel. That's what you call a group of baby opossums. And baby opossums are called joeys. And we're getting joeys in now that are a little bit bigger. They're not really tiny. The thing is, they need to be big enough to be on their own by the end of October in order for them to survive the winter. A lot of them don't survive the winter. It's actually a fairly low survival rate. Something a lot of people don't know about opossums is how soft they are. I don't know what happened to your food, Labby. Their fur is so very, very, very soft, like silky fur. Here, Labby. And about their tail. They grasp with this tail. This is a prehensile tail. And so, what Lavender uses her tail for, all opossums use their tail for, is to hold on to a branch, but not hang from trees. You never pick a possum up by their tail because you could hurt them. You could break their back. Here, I'm going to show you how we pick up an opossum. Let me turn her to the side. One hand goes under her chest and the other one right at the base of her tail, not at the tip of her tail, at the base of her tail. Lavender can't turn her head the way other animals do, so she can't really bite me. Later on, we're going to talk a little bit about if you had to do a road rescue, how you would do that, and how you pick them up has a lot to do with your safety as well as their. Lavender is extremely gentle. Part of that is because she had a head injury. So head injured animals tend to be very gentle and very passive. She's also very clean. All opossums are incredibly clean. They groom like a, hear that? We love that sound. We love the sound of crunching. They groom themselves like cats. She's always washing. After this, even though it's us, her mom and dad, she's going to take a bath because we touched her. And they're all litter trained, except for Rudy. And that's because Rudy can't really move very well. But they're easier to litter train than your cat. And the other thing about Lavender that's unique, Lavender has the run of our house. Lavender's old, you know, for an opossum. 2.5 is pretty old. So we watch her carefully. She goes to the vet every 6 months for a checkup, or if she needs to go sooner, she does. Her coat is starting to get thin. She doesn't move as much. She sleeps a lot more. So we watch her, but she has the run of the house. She does have a cage, but the doors are kept open. She comes and goes as she pleases, and she usually likes to sleep under the couch. She is just a very, very sweet possum. So here is Lavender at 2.5 years old, and I know that a lot of people wanted to meet her. The other person, I call my possums person. The other possum that we're going to meet now is Rudy. And Bill is going to switch Lavender over, but before he does, I'm going to try to bring Rudy up. Here's something that people ask all the time. Do the opossums get along? Opossums are solitary animals. Sometimes siblings will hang out with each other for the first year, but then after that, they usually separate. Males in particular, once it becomes mating season, fight viciously. So we don't allow our opossums to socialize with each other once they pass adolescence. So everybody has a cage, they have their own cage, and if somebody's out, the others are in. Because if they did fight, it would be a very vicious fight. We'll talk a little bit about, when we look at Rudy, we'll talk a little bit about their teeth and their fighting. I'm going to get Rudy. Well, Rudy is right here.
Pam, we have some questions. You want to do some questions now or wait till the end? So someone asked what's their typical lifespan? How long do they live?
In the wild, they live maybe 2 to 3 years. And in captivity, we can maybe get 3 or 4 years. They don't live very long at all. They have, a lot of them have heart problems. They run into diseases like MBD. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. The thing is, until in the last 10 years, opossums weren't a very popular animal. They are now. And so there hasn't been a lot of research. And so a lot of us have joined special research groups to try to see if we could get a little better handle on what's really happening with them, and why they die so young. But one thing you should know is there are predator animals and there are prey animals. And opossums are prey animals. And so I don't think that they were ever designed to have a very long life. But in captivity, I've actually heard of some that have lived 5 years. So we'll see.
And
I don't know.
What are their predators?
Oh, so they're predators. That's funny because I have a thing here of questions, and somebody said, do they have any enemies? And they do have enemies, and their enemies are coyotes, fox, owls, birds of prey, Dogs are one of the biggest enemies. If we get an animal in that's injured from another animal, I have to tell you that most of the time it's a dog that has them. And you want to know their biggest predator? Cars. You know, they get hit by cars and dogs. But so birds of prey, big birds of prey, bobcats. We have a coyote that keeps coming around, so they'll go after them. Other questions?
What about their fainting? Couple of questions about that.
Oh, so the fainting is, let me get Rudy while we're talking about that. It's not really, it's called plain possum. Here, Rudy. Now this is a big boy. Let's see if we can see Rudy. Hey, Rudy. Oh no, don't. There we go.
He's taking out the camera.
There you go, Rudy. He's like, no, I don't want him. Let's see if you can see him. This is Rudy. Now, bring Lavender over here for a minute, Bill. I want you to see the difference in face and size.
He is
Can you
gigantic.
see him? He is huge. So Rudy weighs almost 13 pounds. Lavender weighs 7 pounds. Do you see how Rudy's face is very stocky?
Yeah.
And Lavender's face is very thin. Rudy has, he should have 2 big fangs, but I don't think he's missing one because he had an accident. Let's see if we can pull him back.
Another question is, how many times or how often do you get bit?
Never. Once.
Once.
Once. You know, the little ones are like puppies and kittens, and they tend to taste you.
That says something for their personality, though, that you've handled, I couldn't even guess how many you've handled through the years and only been bitten once.
And it was Rudy who did the bite. And I'm going to tell you something about Rudy. Rudy is our miracle possum. I'm getting a back. I don't know why. Anyway. Okay. So Rudy was hit by a car Christmas Eve 2 years ago. And he was very badly injured. We did not know how badly injured he was at the time. We took him home. And in fact, probably he had 2 broken jaws, a broken nose. He lost an eye. He's blind in the other eye. He has mobility issues where he really can't walk. So Rudy lives in a pen in our dining room, and it's a soft-sided pen. And during the day, he comes out, and actually, believe this or not, our little puppy Destiny loves Rudy, and they sleep together. They take naps together. But Rudy bit Bill a few months ago because Bill hadn't picked him up properly, and Rudy got scared and didn't know what was happening. And that was the first and only time we've been bitten. But I want to say something to you about opossums, because I'm always saying how gentle they are. But you know, any animal can bite, especially if they've been hurt or if they feel threatened. And if an opossum bites you, it would be a bad bite. Opossums have 50 teeth, more teeth, I think, than any other mammal in North America. And they also have a very wide jaw that opens all the way. And on the top of their head here, if you ever handle an opossum, you can feel a ridge. And that ridge on their skull is actually to secure extra muscles for their powerful, powerful jaws so that they can crunch bones and whatever. You don't want them crunching your arm bone. So when I talk to you about doing a road rescue, which we'll do in a little while, and I say to you that you know, that they're gentle and whatever, don't ever think that even your own pet dog, if they're hurt, that they'll bite you. So let's pick up Rudy the way he should be picked up. My hand goes under his chest, and my other hand grabs the base of his tail, and I've got Rudy, so Rudy can't bite me right now. But Rudy is a big, strong boy, and if he was hurt and he was trying to fight me, I might not be able to handle him. I might have to put a blanket over him, and if I were going to rescue him, I'd make sure that box was right there. So I'm not carrying him anywhere. I'm picking him up. Whoa, come on, Rude, and I'm moving him. So there's Rudy, and I know a lot of people. Rudy has his own fan base. He's a wonderful boy. Rudy, because he can't groom himself, he doesn't have mobility. He gets a bath once a week, and he gets his fingernails trimmed, and he gets coconut put on his nice tail. Rudy has a huge tail, but he lost half of it. Woo! He lost half of it in the accident. So Rudy can't really grab with his tail.
He gets the
All
full
right.
treatment, huh?
Yeah, Rudy gets the whole treatment. Rudy is really very, very special to us. Rudy is older than Lavender. Rudy's more than 2.5, and he has had lots of little medical problems come up. He's on pain medication all the time for his mobility problems, but he's very sweet. And he lets me handle him and do whatever I need to do with him.
Tell his story.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you a story about the night he got hit. I'm going to make this quick. Somebody texted us on Christmas Eve and said, there's a possum in the middle of the road. So Bill and I got in the car to do a search. And when we got to where they said it was, there was no possum. And we searched and searched, and we finally found him. He was tiny. He was small on the side of the road. And we grabbed him and took him. Last year, I was doing a public program, and I told this story. And after the program, a lady came up and said to me, where did you find that possum? And I told her, and she said, my husband and I are the two that moved him. We moved him on Christmas Eve to the side of the road. We didn't know what to do. And I said, well, here he is. That woman started to cry. She was so happy. She said, every time we go by that spot, I wonder what happened to that possum. Well, now she knows. He's living with us, and he's happy. So that's Rudy's story. He's our miracle possum. All right, I'm going to get you a baby now. Oh,
All right.
Rudy, oh. There you go, buddy. Next possum. I have cheat notes here because when we do these things, I think that the next person we're going to take a look at is Billy. If you would go get Gabby, and I can answer. Some people asked a couple of questions prior to this, like, where do they live? The possums tend to live in a wooded area, in brush piles and hollow logs. They do climb trees. We just, we have cameras all over here, and we watch at night to see what's going on. And we just had a possum climb a tree, but usually you find them in hollow logs or somebody else's den. And someone else asked us, do they get along with cats? It's an interesting thing. For some reason, opossums and cats get along fine. Adult opossums. Now, that's not Gabby. Little baby opossums look like mice, so they don't fare so well with a cat.
Oh, that makes sense.
But once they become adults, they do very, very well. And in here, this is Gabby. We're going to talk a little bit about Gabby because she's one of our special opossums. Gabby, look at Gabby. She's smiling. Can you see? Do it again, Gab. Do you want to smile? So there's a thing called an opossum smile for the kids that are watching. The first time an opossum sees you, they try to scare you away by going. We call that the opossum smile, and we all smile together. Can you do the opossum smile? Gabby, can you do the opossum smile? She doesn't want to. The next thing they do, if the smile doesn't scare you away, is they hiss and they growl and they drool, and people think, oh my gosh, they have rabies. But possums don't get rabies. Right. They're just trying to scare you away. And if that doesn't work, all the little boys are going to love this. Here's what they do next. The stinkiest poop you ever smelled in your life. Pee-yoo! And most predators run away when they smell that. But if you keep coming, that's when they play dead. People asked about fainting. Yep. What actually happens is it's just a response. It's not like they do it on purpose. They basically do go into a coma-like state. And a dog could come along and pick them up and toss them, and they won't come to. They're out. Their breathing slows down. Everything slows down. Now, they can stay in that state for anywhere from a minute to 4 hours. Now, I've gotten calls from people that it's kind of funny, and they'll say, You know, I had a possum in my backyard that was dead. So I went in the garage to get a shovel and I was going to pick it up. And when I got there, it was gone. I go, yeah, it wasn't dead. It ran away. And so that's the thing about possums playing dead if they're really scared. We have had this season, we've had a couple of babies that came in that didn't want to be here, that just passed out in my hands, just play dead. You know, I was like, oh, that's not going to work. We're going to still fix you. Anyway,
You
so
definitely
this
should
is
not pick them
Gabby.
up and put them in your car.
Oh my God, no. Yeah, I know. You pick it up, put it in your car. It'll be sitting on your shoulder before you know it. Gab, want to come out? Hey, Gab.
People are
Come
saying,
out.
people are saying that they can't stand the cuteness.
Oh, this is Gabby. Now, let me tell you about Gabby. Gabby is a very special opossum. She recently has been diagnosed. See, she's smiling at us with the she's been recently diagnosed with the early stages of MBD. MBD is metabolic bone disease. Some of you may have cats or dogs with it. Some of you may have it. It crosses all species. Gabby came to us in June and she weighed 50 grams, which is about 2 ounces. Today, Gabby weighs over 2 pounds. Under normal circumstances, little Gabby would be going out into a pre-release pen. But Gabby's been put on hold. Initially, Gabby looked okay. She and her brother were sole survivors. Her mom and all her other siblings were hit by a car, and just she and her brother survived. I'm going to pull you back a little bit, Gabby, so they can see you. Got a food dish for her, Bill?
I do.
We're going to try to offer Gabby some food. She's got yogurt and cauliflower, a little bit of applesauce, and some broccoli mixed in with eggs. What do you think, Gab? You want to try some? This is Gabby's first public appearance, so she may be a little bit nervous. Anyway, after a couple of weeks, we realized Gabby was not moving very well. She didn't want to climb. She didn't want to run. By the way, but she was a talker. And that's how she got her name, Gabby. I want you to take a look at Gabby's long, long, thin nose, by the way, because our next guy that's going to play a role in what we tell you about him. We took Gabby to the vet for an examination and x-rays. And then all of her, hi, sweetheart, all of her findings and her x-rays were sent off to a specialist. And unfortunately, what the x-rays showed is that there is a little bit of bowing in Gabby's long bones, which is the start of MBD, which we believe is genetic. Now, the truth is, we don't know enough about MBD in opossums, but we do believe, it's okay, sweetheart, she's very sweet. We do believe that they are predisposed to MBD because they have a very odd calcium phosphorus balance that needs to happen. Anyway, I was hoping Gabby would walk a little bit for you so that you could see she does not walk well. On her back legs, one of her legs doesn't move well. And so what happened, oftentimes they're non-releasable. But because we caught this very, very early, we're hoping that with a very aggressive treatment plan, we can stop it from going any further. And if we can, you see, she moves well enough. If I can get her that she's climbing and whatever, she can be released. Right now, her treatment plan is that every day she gets a calcium supplement that's low in phosphorus. She gets pain meds. She'll get pain meds for a couple of weeks until we start to see some kind of an improvement. She gets a very special diet and a little bit of exercise, not a lot. What we do with Gabby, where she's been staying now, is in a little exercise pen that actually we had set up for Patch that has a wheel. She doesn't use the wheel yet, but she does walk around, which is good. So we're seeing her move a little bit. Now, how old is Gabby? We think Gabby is about 5 or 6 months old. If you look at Gabby's ears, her ears are still tipped with pink. I don't know if you can see that
Yeah,
or
we can
not.
see it.
So, yeah, so she's an adolescent. We think she's probably 5 or 6 months old. You have to understand that we usually guess at their age because we don't know exactly when they're born. So here's Gabby. She's saying hello to everybody. One of our interns, Hillary, has agreed to take Gabby for the winter and to continue with her treatment plan and some mild PT and see if we can't get Gabby so that she is ready. Oh, I gotta get her. Oh, did you hear that?
I
Could
did.
you hear that? She let out a yell. There she is. Hear that? That's a good. Oh, she's mad. Where's her house? We'll put her. So Gabby hasn't been in public before, and so Gabby's scared, and we don't want to stress her out. It's okay, Gab. Can you hear that, kids? We're gonna let her go in her house. There you go, Gab. Where's her blanket? Oh. All right, so Gabby's leaving, but you got to meet Gabby, and I hope people, follow our page, and you'll get to see what happens with Gabby. Remember that our goal as a rehabber is always to release. We should talk a little bit about when we rehab, we rescue. That's our first thing. We rehab, which means makes them healthy, and our final goal is to release them to the wild. So we're hoping that Gabby will be able to go off to the wild. And the next guy that you're gonna, the next little one you're gonna meet, everybody wants to meet Bella. Bella has a broken arm. Where is Bella? Here's Bella.
Bye, Gabby.
Bye, Gabby. Okay, are you ready for real cuteness, everyone? This is Bella. Now, her name is Bellatrix. We call her Bella. She arrived here, maybe now about a month ago. Not quite. And when we got her, she weighed 1 ounce. Can you believe that? 1 ounce. And today, Bella weighs about 5 ounces. Not counting her little sling. Bella has a cast on her arm. So when Bella came to us, we weren't sure what, a foot injury. She came with 6, there were 6 of them that came. 5 were siblings. Unfortunately, of the 6, we only have 3 left. 1 is still in critical care. But Bella and Mr. Green Jeans live together and do fine together. Bella, we thought it was a broken foot. It turns out that it was her growth plate on her ankle. And also the tendons on the ankle were blown. Now, normally, if it's a growth plate fracture, it will heal fine. First of all, we went a long time before it got splinted, trying to find somebody to do it. And secondly, because of the tendons, we're not sure. But I have to tell you, if you want a feisty fighter, this is the girl. I took a video this morning, I'll post it later, of her climbing a ramp. And the way she did it is she puts her cast and then she takes her back foot and pushes the cast up so that she could get up the ramp. She is unbelievably cute. Hey, Bella, can you say hi, everybody? Hi, everybody. I am the cutest little girl that ever lived. Yes, I am. And again, take a look at that nice long nose and look at those ears. And you see those ears? So you know that Bella is pretty young. When this splint was put on, she was completely sedated because she's a little wiggle worm, as you can see. And yeah, she is cute. She's independent. This will be on for 2 weeks. She's on pain meds. And then our hope is that with a little bit of physical therapy, she'll be able to climb and be released. She would be a good release because she's really, really feisty. The real problem is that she's probably lost sensation in one of her thumbs, and that may interfere with her ability to climb. Where's Bella's food, Bill? Let's see if Bella will eat for them. I don't know if anybody has any questions about Bella.
Well,
but
I thought that this would be a good time, since you have mentioned many times about vet visits and medications and things. If someone was interested in helping you, either by volunteering or donating, how could they go about that?
Well, that is a great question, obviously, because rehabbers don't receive any funds from the state or the federal government. So we have on our Facebook page, which is Ferncroft Wildlife Rescue, it may be my phone, a link to our PayPal and to our Amazon wish list, and also on our website, which is just ferncroftrescue.com. And, people send us supplies or make donations, and it makes a huge difference. especially this year, we got hit with a lot of medical stuff. I should tell you a little something about this year and how it's worked for us as rehabbers, and I think across the board. It was a slower year in the beginning, and I think the reason for that is that there wasn't as much traffic, so not as many animals were being hit by cars. But the animals that were hit by cars, because there wasn't as much traffic, weren't helped as quickly, because not everybody stops to help, you know. And so these animals were left out there, and by the time we got some of these little babies, it was too late. They had been there too long. And so we got half the number of animals this year and twice as many problems. So we have still 3 that are in critical care, and it's kind of late in the season for that. So that is how it works for rehabbers. And we are a 501 tax deductible, and anybody who's willing to help us, we are very, very grateful. Thank you for asking that. Okay, Bella, what did you think? Did you think it was wonderful? So bye, everybody. I'm going to go. I don't know what I'm doing on time, Russ. Am I okay?
I
want to
don't even know what time it is.
I want to introduce people to Rocky, our little dwarf. Everybody wants to meet Rocky.
I've been waiting for Rocky.
Okay, Rocky's coming next. Bye, Bella. Bye, sweet Bella. You'll be fine. All right, let's get Rocky. Okay.
13.
I'm gonna put it. There comes Rocky.
I think Rocky has some fans.
Oh, he does. Now he might need some food. So, this is our friend Rocky. Now, Rocky, I want you to notice some stuff if he'll stay still. One of the things about the characteristics of a dwarf, he has very short legs. I don't know if you can tell, but his legs are short and his nose is short. Do you see his little snub nose versus the long nose? His ears tend to be down. He kind of looks like Eeyore. And he has a little pot belly. Can you show them your pot belly? No, you don't want to. Can you show them? Look, I have a pot belly. Yes, I have a pot belly. And his fur. I'm sorry that we don't have virtual feeling, because he should have nice long guard hairs now, and he doesn't. What he has is this sort of soft, it's wonderful, it feels nice, but not protected. So here you get a good shot at that pot belly. And this fur, I don't know. You can't really tell. But anyway, he should have nice long white hair, and he doesn't. He is as sweet as can be, but they tend to be very hyper. So he tends to run around a lot. No aggression. The other thing about dwarfs is there's no aggression. Now, here's the deal. We haven't had a dwarf before, and it's sort of sad because they have a very short lifespan, less than a year. I tell you what happens to most of them is their heart grows, but they don't. And so their heart gets very enlarged, too big, and that's usually what is the problem with them. So Rocky, will you walk? See those little short legs? He should have nice short legs, nice long legs, but his belly drags. So we enjoy Rocky. He'll have a good life. He doesn't really have to be on any special diet. We'll try to get him to exercise. The other thing about Rocky is how did I know he had a problem? He came to us in late June. He weighed 28 grams. So think about that. That's like, not even an ounce. We guessed him at that point to be about 6 or 7 weeks. Now he weighs almost 12 ounces. But that's not very much for somebody who's been here so long. He was what we call a failure to thrive baby. It took Rocky almost a month to gain 10 grams. I mean, he just wouldn't grow. And then I noticed that his legs weren't growing and that he had a snubby nose. And so we worked with a vet and another rehabber who specializes in dwarfs, and sent videos and pictures and all of his records. And she was the one who told us. You know, sometimes people get a small baby that's a runt or just not growing, a failure to thrive, and they go, oh, I have a dwarf. But he had to meet certain criteria. You know, he had to have the short nose and the short legs. And so anyway, we've got him, and we'll do the best we can with him. We'll overwinter him. We're not going to declare him non-releasable because he's, I don't think, going to get old enough for us to have to declare that. And when I mention that, I think it's important that I say something to you about non-releasable. You know, we don't get to just keep non-releasable animals. Rehabbers can't keep animals. Nobody can keep wildlife. In order for us to have these animals, we had to get special federal permits. We're permitted to have 5 non-releasable animals, and we had to build special pens. We had to meet certain specifications, and before you can keep it non-releasable, the state has to approve, the federal government has to approve, they come and they inspect. It's a big, long thing. So I don't, you know, especially the kids saying, I want to be a rehabber because I can keep an animal. You can't. Remember that the goal is to let them go. The goal is to fix them and let them go. So there's Rocky. So now you pretty much have met Lavender, Rudy, Gabby, Rocky, and Bella. And those are the animals that we have for you today. No Patch today because Patch is outside. She likes to be in an outside pen. We can't see her face. What's she doing? Oh, what's he doing?
Now,
Hey.
there are a couple of questions.
Okay.
So somebody would like to know is it okay to feed them cat kibble? I think they're referring to wild ones.
Uh-huh. So I actually had a Bill. Yes. So listen, people are always asking me, what can I do to help? My feeling is this: these are wild animals. Shut off those pages that are telling you things like, oh, you got to cook this and you got to peel that and you got to do this. That is with animals that are non-releasable. Put it up a little bit. Animals that are out in the wild, you should not be feeding them so that they're depending on you for food. You can supplement their diet. You can make it so that they're not going to starve to death, but you should not be feeding them that they depend on you. You've done more harm than good that way because they need to forage. They're wild animals. So kibble is perfect. Dry kibble, dog kibble, cat kibble, doesn't matter. And water. Water is very important. In the winter, we use warm. I got to grab him or he's going to go flying. We use heated water bowl that we put out. But I want to tell you something. In fact, here, I have this little statement. Why don't we put him back and get Lavender?
Oh.
Okay. Or you can hold him. Winter is coming, and a lot of people want to know, what can I do to help? Now is the time for you to be walking your property and take a look at where you think wildlife might be able to survive the winter. Look for things like brush piles, stone walls, sheltered areas, a place maybe where you could set up a shelter. We use straw, not hay. Hay gets moldy and causes fungus infections, so straw is a good insulator. You could make your own little shelter out of an old cooler or those totes. They sell them for $6 or $7 at Walmart. You cut holes in them, and there's lots of stuff on YouTube to tell you how to do that. But here's the deal. Do not be feeding them near your house. If you put food out for the opossums, everybody's coming to that table. You got a fox, you got a coyote, you got a skunk, and you've got that never-ending parade of raccoons. So not near your house. And now's the time for you to walk around and look at your garage and your sheds. And if you don't want animals in there, secure them now. Be working on that stuff now. So come winter, what we do in the winter is we have one area down near where one of our pens is that's sheltered. And we do have electric down there. So we put a heated water bowl and we put a bowl of kibble. That's it. Nothing else. And I do that in the winter. When it's really, really cold, I do it every night. But if it's not really cold and the ground is bare and they can forage, I might do it every third night. Because remember that you don't want an animal to be, a wild animal to be dependent on you, okay? You want to help them. You want to help them survive. Any kind of kibble. You know, people go, what kind of kibble? Oh my gosh, you know, people donate kibble to us. We love it because that's what we use. It doesn't matter if it's dog kibble or cat kibble, it's kibble. Remember that it's a supplement. I hope that helped a little bit on what you could do. Somebody said, what do I put in my vegetable garden for them? They won't eat vegetables. They might eat apples off your apple tree, but very rarely does an opossum. You know, I don't know if you can see this. This has got eggs in it, and it's eggs because I put the broccoli and the cauliflower in there, and I trick them into eating the broccoli and the cauliflower because they really don't like vegetables. Okay, sorry, Rick. That was Russ. That was a long question. I had a question. Go ahead.
Someone would like to know if they're released in a special location.
They are released in a special location, and that's an excellent question. Before they're released, you know, you can't just take an opossum, rehab it, open the cage door, and say goodbye. They wouldn't know how to survive. So before they're released, they go out to a pre-release pen for 2 to 3 weeks. And during that time, we do not interact with them at all. No talking, no touching, no nothing. We clean and feed while they're sleeping during the day. And we do 2 types of release. One is called a soft release. A soft release is on our property where we can keep an eye on them. And soft releases are usually reserved for animals where we feel maybe they aren't quite ready for survival skills. And what we do is we open the cage at dusk and we give them the opportunity to go free if they want at daylight, not at dawn, because I don't get up at dawn, but at daylight, we go down and we check. And anybody that's in there sleeping, we close them in so the predators won't get them. And then that night we open it up again. Some of them are gone the first night. Some of them it takes 2 weeks. You know, it depends. But it doesn't matter. During that time, we offer them food and water. And after they're all gone, we offer them food and water every other day for at least a couple of weeks. We have cameras everywhere on our property and we watch for them and we watch to see who's coming back and we have an idea on them. And where we release them, if it's a hard release, people always want them on their property because they eat ticks and bugs and grubs. And so it has to be a place that has underbrush, woods, a water supply, away from free range dogs and away from a major road. So, you know, we're looking for people that have some acres that are willing to let opossums go. And I mentioned the thing about ticks, and I want to just hit on that because people always say, oh, they eat ticks, they chase ticks. They don't chase ticks. Okay, they're not guinea hens, but they are great groomers. And they are low to the ground with this long, long fur. And the ticks stick to them. And while they're grooming, they eat ticks, lots of ticks. So we didn't have any ticks this year. We got a slew of opossums out there. So that's the deal with them eating ticks. Did that help a little bit?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I had a question about, do we train our ambassadors? And I just want to say that we don't train ambassadors, but before we say that we're going to use an animal as an ambassador, an educational ambassador, and bring them out in public, we test them for their temperament and their anxiety level when they're in public.
Go into the bathroom.
And we, oh no, and we use food usually to motivate them. We offer them treats. We introduce them to the carrier. First, we just show it to them, then we put them in it, then we take them for a ride. We teach them to wear a harness. None of them like that. We bathe them and groom them, handle them a lot in different situations. And finally, we bring them to a program as an observer. And when they go as an observer, they stay in the cage. Nobody can touch them. They're there just to see all the people and the noise and the sounds and whatever. And if they react well to that, then they can become one of our educational ambassadors. Opossums are wonderful educational ambassadors. They're so gentle and kids love them. Have I gone over yet? Or is everybody going like, shut up, lady?
We have a couple more minutes.
Okay. So You learned that for opossums, they're nocturnal, which means that while kids are sleeping, they are playing, and while kids are playing, opossums are sleeping. But I didn't mention to you the difference between an opossum and a possum. What we have here in New England is an opossum. Possums are a different animal, and they come from Australia. They're actually really kind of cute. So there is a difference, but we call them possums just because we're lazy, but they're really opossums. They have front feet with 5 fingers. They have back feet with an opposable thumb, kind of like a monkey. They have a prehensile tail that they use to gather materials and to grab with. They have 50 sharp teeth and big, powerful jaws. The males are usually bigger than the females. They have a broader, bolder face, and they have a yellow bib. Oh, that's another thing I didn't tell you. Males oftentimes have a yellow bib. That's their scent gland. And they have a musky odor, which I love. Bill hates. Females are smaller, more slender, and they have a pouch. And people go, how can I tell a male from a female? You know, like I saw one on the side of the road. I didn't know what to do. If you see a possum on the side of the road, first of all, you should always pull them off the side of the road because predators will come along and get hit too. But you flip them over and you take a look and see if it's a mama. You saw what Lavender's pouch looked like, right? The pouch could be very big or it could be closed. And little things are squirming around in there and you're like, oh no. I know that it seems kind of, if you have never done this, I have videos up on YouTube you can watch to actually remove a baby from a pouch. You should always be wearing gloves, first of all. And when you reach in, the pouch is lined with sort of a waxy material because the babies have no hair. So it's a yellow waxy material. And here's the difference between unattaching a baby possum versus every other animal. A possum, the mama's teeth goes down their throat. So it's not like a puppy or a kitten where you just pull them off, where you hold the back of their head. Oh, that's Lavender. You hold the back of their head and sort of where the teeth is attached to the mom, and you slowly but firmly pull. And you're going to see this long string, and you're going to be freaking out thinking, oh my God, what's happening? What's happening is normal. That's just you. They will let go eventually. When those babies are born and they crawl up to that mama's pouch, they literally fuse onto the mama's teeth for 2 months. They don't come off. So you have some work to do to get them off. So my feeling is you can always text me or another rehabber and say, here I am. What am I going to do? And we'll talk you through it. But I've had people who just couldn't do it because it seems weird. I know it seems weird. The first time we did it, it was weird. So they just put the mother with the babies in a box and bring them to us. And we do it. And we teach them while they're here. And the rescue box, everybody in their car should maybe keep a rescue box. Always keep heavy gloves, rubber gloves. Here's the success. The success to a rescue is warm, dark, and quiet. This is our rescue box that we have in our car all the time. You can buy these everywhere. And we always have big, heavy gloves. This is for any animal. These are great, big, heavy gloves because animals can bite. And fleece to wrap the animals in. And to keep the animals warm, we just use hot hands. We just keep hot hands with us. And here's very important. You need to protect yourself. So for the teenagers that might be watching, no pulling over on a dark road on a curve to save a squirrel and then get yourself killed, okay? Sometimes you just keep going and you call for help and tell somebody, hey, there's something on the side of the road. We wear a reflective vest whenever we're doing a road rescue, day or night, and we wear headlamps so that we've protected ourselves. So if you just have a box in the car, these boxes fold up, they don't take any space. You could be a rescuer too.
So
how we doing, Russ?
I think we're just about out of time. But
okay.
Let me thank you guys, first of all. I think this was an awesome
Thank
program.
you.
We had over 130, I think we're up to 160 at one point, people watching. But let me also let everyone know that if you find any injured animal, anything, you can contact the DEEP hotline,
Yes.
which is 860-424-3333. And they can put you in contact with wildlife rehabilitators. No matter what the animal, they can help you out. You can also visit the website. And why don't you guys give your information, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you to help you.
Please. Please do check our Facebook page. We're Ferncroft Wildlife Rescue. You want to take this? Or our website, which is just ferncroftrescue.com. Message me, say, hey, I watched your program. I'll talk to you. If you've got more questions, I'll answer your questions. Lavender's finishing her dinner. Oh, Lavender's finishing Gabby's dinner. And I want to thank you, Ranger Russ, and I want to thank Laurie Shaw and Meigs Point for inviting us. This was really fun. I hope we made some new friends, and I hope that you're all wildlife advocates. And kids, one more reminder. If you love animals, then you help save them, and you make sure that the birds are flying in the sky and the fish are swimming in the water and the wild animals are running free and wild in the fields and the woods, because that's where they're the happiest.
All right.
That's it from us, Russ. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone,
Bye,
for tuning in to this program
Bye.
from the Meigs Point Nature Center. And I want to remind everyone that this program will be put up on our YouTube channel and on our website, so you can view it later on. And we do these programs every Tuesday through Friday at 11 o'clock. This was a special program, so it's a little bit different. But these programs, you can see all sorts of programs on our website, meigspointnaturecenter.org. Visit our virtual learning center. And please visit our friends at Ferncroft and help them if you can. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.